You were rather fast there, Shadow.
Oh yeah, I forgot you have that little sign. It just appears sometimes when I'm just trying to go to my menus. I have a habit of touching my thumb pad.
I'm here.
Hi, Aqua.
I have a habit of just randomly
It's
pressing my
Aqua.
trigger
Murmur,
down.
why are you a black avatar now?
Aqua,
I sit down randomly a
behind
lot.
you.
You're actually just like a black avatar.
Just make sure
Yeah,
you have
you
yourself
are?
muted though, no one type thing, just in case you get a little bit of feedback.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
doing.
When it does
You know-
start.
You're my favorite girl in that anime. I don't care if they like the brown-haired witch girl. I don't even remember her name.
Aqua.
Meg, you mean
I know
Aqua.
Aqua. I know Aqua. I don't remember the other girl. I think
Eris.
it's like, it
Megumi.
starts with an M. I know Darkness.
Megumin.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Megumi. The same anime. Waga no Megumi.
Also, I'm streaming. No, I'm wrong. It is
Ooh, I
these.
got
There
best
we go.
seat.
Find out. You may be called. It's
Hi.
okay. Sorry.
Are we in like a museum right now?
Yeah, fuck it.
I don't know. Where did Murmur go? Wow,
I think
she
he kept
has her
going.
legs quite
Oh,
spread.
hey guys, there's a
Those are
path over
quite
here.
spread.
Not very
Let's
ladylike.
keep going.
She needs to close her legs, Murmur.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go check it out.
これなんだ。
Wow.
ロリマオか。これあれか。
We meet again.
Sure.
Yes. Hello.
Murmur.
Though the true kitten might be here this time, so you might
Oh,
have to find her.
you're better now. You're
What?
your avatar now.
Yes.
Oh, there's a person there.
You can warn them.
Ohayo gozaimasu.
It's a shadow snipe.
は。
Come on, wow.
Not here.
Murmur, can I sit in your lap? Oh, there's a
Yes, the
chair.
blue chairs are for small avatars.
Yes.
Yes.
The red ones are for normal-sized avatars.
Oh, I want to sit by Murmur.
I will request that if anyone here
Murmur.
starts losing frames, speak up. As we might all need to change to the avatars hidden behind these curtains.
Uh-oh.
Okay, sure thing.
So, is there like a mystery back there? Like mystery prizes?
There's an
If
Xbox
you
back
refer
there.
to two different models, then yes.
You're actually smaller than me somehow. How is Murmur smaller than me?
Aw.
No, the lag.
Hi, Tubi.
That took like forever to load in.
Just can't look behind you.
Thank you. Oh, the boobs tickle. Oh, that's nice. I appreciate that.
Someone's in your seat, Neone.
I know, I can see that.
Murmur, what are you doing?
That's Andy.
Oh, you're right there.
Literally has a name on it. That's awesome.
Yeah. I got to sit in it the other day.
I saw that.
As long as the sound doesn't start lagging, I'm all good.
Oh.
Murmur.
Go ahead and page sloth. You should be here
Murmur,
soon.
can I sit by you?
Hello there. You made it. Well then,
Oh, yeah.
it looks like everyone's funneled in.
No.
No, we still have people arriving.
I'm personally ready for some
Hello.
really kick-ass stories, Mr. Magnanix.
You have to be quiet.
By
You have to be
really
quiet.
kick-ass stories, you mean a continuation of the Tensei Shitara Slime Dr. Ken web novel? That is exactly what you will be hearing.
Yeah, woo!
This is the content I subscribed for.
Mitsuha, could I request that whilst you're typing you mute your microphone? That would be greatly appreciated.
I think everybody should mute their mic other than Magnanix.
Yeah, I usually have my mic muted 90% of the time.
Excellent.
Probably false.
Well then, if everyone would like to take your seats, or stand at the back if you feel so inclined. I can't read your name. I suppose we shall begin. Where can I put this? Right there. Are you ready, Shadow? I cannot see you because you are black against black. Excellent. That's a good way. Then, let us begin with a brief recap of what happened last reading. What happened last reading? That is a good question. Yes. The Demon Lord Milim Nava and two subordinates of the other two Demon Lords arrived at Rimmeru's city, the city known as Tempest, named after him in his honor. Milim immediately went straight towards the city rather than using any form of stealth tactics, unlike the other two subordinates, and met with Rimmeru out in the fields, where he then quickly brought her into town, and they had a lovely old time together. That's a lie. He was scared out of his wits because she had way too much power and seemed like a child. So he treated her thus, and they became fast friends. After many near calls, with his subordinates almost calling her small or a child, one of them in fact doing so and almost dying from a hit, they eventually grew calmer. Yes, that's a good way to put it. And then she suddenly left, telling Rimmeru that she would be talking to her friends about her new dragon gloves. Meanwhile, the other two demons started to slowly ingratiate themselves into a human group, a group of guards from another kingdom, who also wanted to be stationed within the city because it was so close to all of the villages that they must protect. Little did the demons know that they slowly were enjoying the company of humans. And that is where we left our story off. Oh no, Rimmeru then went to a city where he was about to meet with the guild leader of the Freedom Association. I should really write that down before the event, but time is of the essence. Then we shall begin at chapter 54. Business, the start of a trade. The meeting continued until late last night. It can't be helped, since I arrived late. Well, we were supposed to meet today, but apparently the noble wanted to meet... No, hold on. Is this the right chapter? Let me just double check. Yes, it is. Excellent. It just jumps an entire scene. Well, we were supposed to meet today, but apparently the noble wanted to meet me, no matter what. We exchanged information briefly during yesterday's meeting. Mainly, I heard about the towns and countries of humans. I also learned about the Freedom Association. They even said they would introduce me to their leader, Yuki Kagurazaka, at their headquarters. However, something felt amiss. I heard the Freedom Association's headquarters is located in the royal capital, but there are a lot of royal capitals. There's the large neighboring Farmers' Kingdom, and the terrifyingly strong neighboring kingdom of the Sorcery Dynasty of Sarian. Even a small kingdom, such as Brumund, has a royal capital. In fact, we're in it right now. So in which country is the Freedom Association headquarters located in? The clusters of countries around the Great Jura Forest join together and forms the Council. Therefore, the gathering of councillors must be in an easily accessible location, and its headquarters is now set in the Ingrassia kingdom. In terms of strength, the one boasting the strongest power amongst those that joined the council is the Farmers' Kingdom. But due to the developed transportation system in the Ingrassia kingdom, it became the heart of all the kingdoms instead. That's the most likely reason why the Farmers' Kingdom and the Ingrassia kingdom on bad terms. You see, it seems a bit stilted. However, there's also another reason why the Ingrassia Kingdom was selected. The Ingrassia Kingdom is the only kingdom not directly next to the Great Jura Forest. Therefore, it's less susceptible to monster attacks, granting it the blessing of being safe. The Freedom Association's headquarters will be located in the country which is blessed with safety and has advanced transportation networks. Give me a moment. People keep sending me this. I'm just going to close it in time. And has close Discord, the phone starts going off. And has the most advanced transportation networks. That much is obvious. That means when they said the royal capital they were referring to, the royal capital of the Ingrassia Kingdom. Another feature of the countries within the council is that this is so bad, is the fact that they're all countries that follow the church. In other words, the kingdoms surrounding the Great Jura Forest are within the sphere of influence of the church. Commerce and religion are the two main pillars that support bonds between kingdoms. Each country votes for a councillor, and all of the councillors embody equality due to their religion. I heard there's a system where important decisions are discussed and decided in the council. Surprisingly, this system is quite similar to the United Nations from my previous life. Councillor elections methods differ from country to country, but the majority of the councillors elected are from the royal family. By the way, the sorcery dynasty of Sarah... I apologize. This is going to take a little while to get into. By the way, the sorcerer dynasty of Sarian doesn't have a national religion. The king claims to be a descendant of God and forbids all other religions. Thus, they were rejected from being a part of the council, making them an isolated superpower. But I heard that they do have commercial relations with other kingdoms, most likely because it is a superpower. Anyway, I heard that the Freedom Association's headquarters is located in the center of the Ingrassia Kingdom. So, if I want to meet Yuki Kagurazaka, I'll have to visit the Ingrassia Kingdom. Apparently, they were willing to write a letter introducing me to him, but in exchange I was told to meet Baron Perudo, a noble of his station. Of course, I agreed to the terms, and am currently riding towards my destination on a horse carriage with my current partner. I parted with the three idiots last night. Please, let's keep in touch. As I thought, let's adventure together forever. It sure will get lonely without you. Let's play together again in Tempest. Saying these words, they departed unwillingly. Who said that? What? Saying these words, they departed unwillingly. But that's their own problem. I, for one, don't feel anything at the moment. Strangely, I don't feel lonely at all. While I was thinking of such things, the carriage came to a halt. It appears we have arrived. Scene change. It is a district lined with beautiful structures. Feeling composed, Fuse guided me towards a building, slightly smaller compared to the others. By the way, is it fine if I don't know anything about the honorific etiquette and manners of nobility? Ah, that's right. That's going to be troublesome. Is everything going to be all right? About Fuse's old man, I heard he's going to be quite the handful. Yesterday, Fuse asked about the current situation of the Great Jura Forest. After that, he asked about Shizu's. And whether do I know about Veldora. That is literally how it's written. When it came to Veldora, I played the fool and feigned ignorance. As for the situation in the Great Jura Forest, I said our town was doing well in its own way, while being as vague as possible. Naturally, I was asked to explain my subjugation of the local monsters in detail. I understood that even though they wanted to know the reason as to why there was so little damage caused by the monsters. Somebody end me. As for Shizu-san's story, it was kind of hard to talk about it, much less explain it. In the end, I stopped explaining when I reached a certain promise with Shizu-san. Fuse, I see. I'm counting on you. After muttering that, nothing more was spoken. Shizu-san, renowned as the explosive monarch, seems to have been an A-rank adventurer that belonged to the headquarters. At the headquarters, she worked hard as an instructor, but she probably realized that her death drew near. Refusing to be confined in the headquarters, she suddenly disappeared, and that's how the story goes. But, thanks to her, I was able to make many new friends. I trusted Fuse, and came all this way. But is it really all right? With all these etiquette and formalities, this is going to be one troublesome talk. While worrying about such things, I then entered the building. After entering the building, an old man who introduced himself as the butler guided us. Anyway, there are also maids here, which is always nice. I remember going to maid cafes in my previous life. Just sitting down cost thousands of yen. It's a complete rip-off. This factor makes qualifying this as a good memory a problem. However, this is a different world. A guy like me can see the difference in quality when compared to the genuine thing. There are only fake old maids in real life. Guided by the butler, we entered a room. There are even more doors in this room. The butler knocked on one of the doors. There was a reply. Enter! Honestly, these kinds of exchanges are just annoying. Going straight through a magic circle, the interior is completely different. Once inside, a tall, slim man who looked like he was very hard-working with a parsimonious beard and silted eyes greeted me. You have arrived. My name is Baron Bellard. I am one of Brumun's ministers. Pleased to be of your acquaintance. The other party has greeted me before I managed to give my greetings. Nice to meet you. My name is Rimuru Tempest. I am a monster, but I wish to form amicable relations with humans. I may be ignorant when it comes to manners and etiquette, but I hope you can overlook that. I returned the greeting and shook hands with him. This place's practices are quite similar to my previous life. Do be at ease. I am but a landless baron. It's fine even without the formality. Now then, the time we have isn't infinite. Let's talk briefly. I'll get straight to the point. About your town. Tempest, is it? I would like to form a cooperative relation with there. We propose to cooperate to support adventurers on their adventures and assist them when they're having problems facing powerful monsters. I only ask these 2 points of you. Well, well. To summarize what he said, since Brumund is a small country without much national power, their countermeasures against monsters are insufficient. They somehow cooperated with the Freedom Association, but the Freedom Association can't be their only means of defense against monsters. Fortunately, there aren't many major damages caused by monsters to date, but in preparation for the future, they wish to form bilateral relations with my town, Tempest. Assistance for adventurers, that's a topic that Fuse touched upon yesterday. He's probably thinking that in order for the adventurers to succeed, and to reduce the threat the forest poses, I'll need to provide necessities such as beds and supplies for those working in the forest. However, his partner is a country of monsters. I wonder, why did he approach and trust us so easily? That's something to worry about. Indeed. What benefits will I gain if I accept this? Rather than a collaborative relationship, don't you think this is only one-sided? Of course, we'll also try to guarantee certain benefits to their... We'll legitimize your identity. Is this a different one? I assume this is someone else speaking. Of course, we'll also try to guarantee certain benefits to you. We'll legitimize your identity as a nation. In other words, you and your country, Tempest, we promise to recognize it as a legitimate nation of monsters. We have even obtained permission from the King of Brumund. If your side cooperates with us, we'll recognize you guys as a nation and promise decent correspondence. In other words, we'll mutually stay vigilant about monsters and help each other in times of emergencies. Either way, we're supposed to be on guard, but with this, we would not have to worry about Brumund. We will notify and help each other when faced with assaults by powerful monsters. I don't think there will be any problems. If we accept this offer, we'll be recognized as a legitimate country. This doesn't seem like a bad deal. Well, I'll admit it, though. The council that was previously mentioned may not necessarily acknowledge this, as Brumund is the only country in the council that does. Still, getting the approval of 2 countries after the Dwarven Kingdom is a major achievement. Very well, I will accept this offer. After I said this, the atmosphere felt significantly less tense than before. I will probably have been cornered. What? I will probably have been cornered if it were to continue anyway. I see. That's great. Now then, this is the certificate of approval from the King of Brumund, and this is proof that it is a legitimate document. While saying this, he took out a stamp from his pocket. The stamp emitted light in response to the spirit pledge magic. This shows that it is indeed a legitimate document from the king. My skill Analyze also shows the same results. Unexpectedly, contractual relationship frauds can't be performed in this world. Compared to my previous life, such procedures are much more simplified. This really helped me, since I don't have to take the time to meet the king directly. Besides, they probably aren't going to allow the king to meet a monster. It also simplified the process in that aspect as well. And with my signature on the treaty between Brummond and Tempest has been established. During this event, a third party bears witness that the transaction is carried out justly. After that, we made a few arrangements and conducted another meeting in going into details of the treaty. And for the first time, I remembered about the flaws of the contract in this world. So, in the event where we have to move a force through the forest... Oh, wrong voice. So, in the event where we have to move a force through the forest, we'll be counting on your cooperation. That's what he said. A force. This isn't something related to monsters. Because we were to cooperate during emergencies, that also includes when the nation is being attacked. For example, the Eastern Empire. I was deceived. How dare they deceive me? I wanted to faint in agony. Idiot, 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 stupid me. I remembered that sweet talk. If you think about it from Brummond's side, they now have a reason to get me to cooperate even without my consent. Look at the trio of idiots. I can't even chase away adventurers. If we were to get the country's approval, there's no need for that. But there's a reason he daringly says that. Brummond was really afraid that the Eastern Empire will invade through the forest. In preparation for when that happens, they probably wanted me to become the buffer state. Certainly, he didn't lie. If we're having problems, he'll also come help. After all, it's our turn next. Even if the Empire does ignore us, we're going to have to send in reinforcements to Brummond. Anyway, we have been successfully deceived. You noticed. You were certainly quick. However, you have already signed the treaty, so when the time comes, we're counting on you. With a grin, I was laughed at with a bearing smile. Baron Ballard, a man who handles work very well. That sly old dog of a noble. Tricking people like me is probably like taking candy from a baby. It can't be helped. I'll let it slip for now. Strangely, I don't feel angry even after I've been deceived. Apart from the shallow feeling of regret, I feel like praising the adversary. I've been had. That kind of a moment. Well, this is also a form of experience. I'll think about it when the Empire does move. And again, you can't let your guard down around humans. Monsters are unexpectedly straightforward. I made a vow in my heart that from now on, when negotiating with humans, I'll have to think more deeply before making any decisions. Scene change. It's not fun to be deceived. Even after all the trouble, I still benefited from the experience. I took a medium healing potion and placed it on the table. This is? Baron Ballard questioned. It is a recovery potion made in my town. I wanted to sell it to the local markets, I answered. Fuse and Ballard held the potion in their hands and examined. Fuse can definitely perform an analytical magic. What is this? This isn't some cheap stuff sold in the town. This is a high-class goods similar to those sold in the royal capital. The farmer's kingdom taxes it when they distribute it, but it doesn't come into these markets. Just how many do you have? I told them that I currently have 500. If they're willing to buy on a regular basis, I can probably supply them 2,000 to 3,000 monthly, if I take it out of the storage. In this country, adventurers are at the front lines, and there's a demand for the potions. There's a branch of the Freedom Association at the Farmers' Kingdom, but adventurers that are affiliated with them are few. There are several reasons, the biggest reason being that there's a trend of looking down upon adventurers. However, it also is a fact that adventurers tend to be generous with their money, and they also help them thin the numbers of demons. Due to this reason, there have been recent desperate attempts of trying to attract adventurers, but there aren't any results to show. That's why goods like high-quality recovery potions are vital. Luring adventurers while imposing high taxes on dwarf-made weapons? I've thought about it this much. If it's armor, a bit of adjustment is all that it needs. We might even be able to sell off the gear of monsters. If that's the case, people will be eager to buy it. At the very least, if I sell a product, I will be able to attain some profit. Hopefully, I will be able to make up for my previous blunder. We were introduced to the merchant, Guardian that's a weird name, Miles. I left the office of Baron Ballard and proceeded to visit the merchant, Guard. At the corner of the shopping street, there was a large store called the Miles Firm. The chairman of the shopping street seems to be the owner of the store. He has joined the Freedom Association's Merchant Guild, but is a formal Brummond merchant with the country's permission. It's quite rare for a person to have the license of both the country and the Freedom Association. I was told that Garda was one of the rare individuals. Welcome, please come here, Dana. What kind of order do you have today? I came with Fuse today, and I replied with a humble bow. When you think about it, this old man Fuse is also an authoritative figure in this kingdom. Today I came to introduce this person. Show respect. I must return since I still have some errands. Please excuse my rudeness. This person? What kind of person is it? In short, a state guest. I'm leaving it to you. Saying these parting words, Fuse left. I've been left behind after being referred to as a state guest. How should I act if I get lost? Well, it's fine, I guess. My name is Rimuru. Please take care of me. I came to make a business proposal, or transaction, and my product is this. Thus we started negotiating. As expected of the merchant Mionis, he quickly appraised the goods to ascertain its value. Negotiations began. Time passes. At the end, I decided to sell them here. It was decided that the price would be 22 silver coins each, and the retail price set here was 25 silver coins. After telling him the location of our town, he plans to go stock up. If Garda is going to buy more, then the selling price at Tempest is 20 silver coins. In addition, due to the matter of assisting adventurers, it was decided that the selling price to adventurers at Tempest will also be 22 silver coins. In this fashion, we shook hands with each other and signed the contract. This time, without any fine prints, we were able to form a satisfactory agreement with each other. But, Dana, I can't use a horse-drawn carriage to arrive at your town. If it's restocking on recovery potions, I can manage it somehow, but it's going to be rather inconvenient. Of course, that's something we must discuss. It would have been nice if I established a highway. I understand. Then I'll build a highway that connects Tempest to Brummond. What? You'll be able to use a carriage if I make a road, right? I think it'll take 2 months for a horse carriage to finish the journey. If we cut down some trees, we'll be able to make a direct path. Although, I think it's going to take 6 months to finish. Is that okay? Of course. I also want to see the 500 you're selling too. Yomu's answered while smiling ear to ear, whilst rubbing his hands together. The highway towards the Dwarf Kingdom is complete. Now, we'll move on and establish a highway that connects towards Brummond. This way, trade between Tempest and Brummond has supposedly started. When the highway that connects Tempest and Brummond is completed, the merchants of Brummond will have no need to go through the Farmer's Kingdom to reach the Dwarven Kingdom, and thus Tempest is becoming the new center of trade routes. And that is that chapter. Give me but a moment. I must wet my throat. Thank you for all the love hearts. I did hear someone mention that they are lagging. Is this still happening for anyone?
I'm okay.
Simple?
I mean,
I'm lagging a
I'm
bit.
getting like video lag, but I'm not getting audio lag yet, which is good, I suppose.
Could I request everyone, and I'm sorry to do this, to step behind the curtain and use one of the crowd avatars that are there? That will be greatly appreciated. That way we will reduce the lag in the room immensely.
Everyone running at
Thank
once.
you so
My
much.
frames.
In a world where Magnanix doesn't do voiceovers.
なんかこれ、あれや、名探偵コナンやんか。犯人役やん。
Thank you all so much. It is greatly
you're
appreciated, and I'm
very
sure the
welcome.
people with lowered frames will also thank you.
I
You may
am
now return
special,
to your
so I will
seats,
be the
Storm
one
Call.
Knuckles. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
You're a Knuckles, though. Get out.
Please don't.
Hey
Very
man,
well, let us move
I'm
this
special.
back here. We will now continue the reading. Chapter 55, Adventurer Registration. Oh, goody. There's only one thing to do now that we've signed the contract. Right, celebrate. I couldn't venture into the unseen lands yesterday, but today is different. You might need to mute your microphone. Sounds like you're cooking something in the kitchen. Someone just tried to invite me to the hub. I couldn't venture into the unseen lands yesterday, but today is different. Murmels-kun, do you have any plans after this? Dana also enjoys it, huh? This Murmels has the perfect shop in mind. Ho ho! But are you aware that I have high standards for these things? Please leave it to me. I'm completely certain that you shall be pleased. And thus we spent the night drinking. I dare say, what a blissful day. And like that, for a week. I'm still in the care of Mjolnir's establishment. Of course, I'm not just messing around the whole day. Using Shadow Step, I went to let Rigurdo know about our arrangements with the Brumman Kingdom, and to order Bester to mass-produce medicine, among other things. I also didn't forget to order Kaijin and Gerudo to lay a road all the way to Brumman, and to have them prepare lodging space for adventurers who would eventually show up and train people to repair armor and weapons. Though we just finished one construction spree, everyone seemed eager to start another. After giving out orders, I would come back and spend the night drinking. That's how busily I spent every day of the week. Upon receiving my orders, the city livened up with action. It should be fine to leave it to them. At this rate, they should finish the road within the next 2 months. The money I made from selling medium-grade medicine, high potions, totaled 110 gold coins. Combined with what I already had, I currently have 126 gold. I gave 100 to Mjolnir's so that he'd deliver vegetable sprouts and seeds and spices of every kind to our city, but I still have 26 gold left. Since that's quite a large sum, I planned to splurge to my heart's content, but there was nothing I wanted to buy. The week's worth of drinking was covered by Mjolnir's. He probably intended to ensure favorable relations, considering our future joint endeavors, so he really let me have my way. In other words, I received the best treatment imaginable. Mjolnir is definitely a useful man, and that's how I became friends with this merchant. But I'm not letting my guard down. Mjolnir is softening people up with a smile on his face. That's the mark of a true merchant. He also lends out money at the highest interest rate, and I have seen many potential customers visit him daily. But it seems that he doesn't meet these people personally. Rather, he leaves it to his store attendants. As expected of a licensed merchant, he has many ways of making profits. There also are some nobles who come to him to borrow some money. Debt is a frightening thing. It can always be used. Well, since both parties intend to benefit, betrayal is unlikely. Merchants, first and foremost, consider both parties' profit. That doesn't make sense. Rather than relying on a poor alliance, it's better to establish trustworthiness. This whole week I've been trying to ascertain his character, with intention of confirming viability of future cooperations, signed the contract and arranged future deliveries. I guess it's time to set off on a journey. I think they missed an eye there. I let Mjolnir know my intentions. Thanks for the past week. I'll come to hang out again sometime. Dana, I'll be waiting for your return. Please, come again. Yeah. In 2 months, I'll send a group to guard and lead you to my city. They'll come in my name, so you'll know it's them. I leave it to you. Understood. We parted after this exchange. The attendants and other customers were surprised at his humility. I didn't understand why at first, but after thinking for a moment, it made sense. Shop owners who normally act arrogantly, suddenly acting so humble to a child. It would certainly have been a bizarre scene. Maybe I should have changed into my adult form during our conversation. Well, too late now. And so I left the shop. After leaving, I headed straight for the Freedom Association. They already wrote an introduction letter to Kagurazaki Yuki.
What the fuck is this character
of course, I'm planning on going to get it, but I also need to finally get an ID in this world. The country has promised to recognize my person, so I'll be registering at the guild. Otherwise, I'd have to go from country to country, demanding identification every time I visited, and that would be a pain. If I register as an adventurer, I would be recognized not by a single country, but by every country that cooperates with the association. After registering, unless some troubles come up, I should probably make my way towards the Ingrassia kingdom. Without delay, I lined up at the receptionist. They seemed pretty free at noon, so I quickly got to see somebody. Registration, please. Little girl, isn't it a bit too soon for you? The receptionist lady softly rebuked my request. That's to be expected, considering my appearance. It's still a pain, though. I don't mind. There's no problem. After I said so, the receptionist lady reluctantly handed me the registration form. I filled in the form she gave me. Name, age, speciality, birthplace, and such. Seems like I need to fill in only what I know. So I only filled in the name and identified myself as a swordsman. With that, I finished filling in the form. Next, I would need to decide which guild to join. You can join more than one, so it's not something to fret about. I decided on joining the Subjugation Division, so I can subjugate the page as it turns. Little girl, that's a dangerous one. Are you sure? The worried receptionist said, but I told her not to mind. I wondered if she'd give up, but in that case, let's hold a trial. If you leave the city gates, the lowest rank is not F, it's E, so I can't recognize you without a trial first. What will you do? It's all right to give up, you know. Just joining the Freedom Association would make you an F rank. To join combat specialized divisions, however, you would need to be at least E rank. Huh? I see. In that case, please put me to a test. I decided to accept the trial. As long as it's not a written test, there shouldn't be a problem. The receptionist lady stood up and went inside. Then she brought a man. He'll probably oversee the test. You're being tested, huh? Whatever, come at me, he said, and had us move to another building. The bored adventurers who saw this began to murmur among themselves. Oi, oi, that small child isn't planning on testing, right? That's too ridiculous. Want to bet on whether she passes or not? Stop it. The outcome is clear. But she did have a strange sword on her hip. Never seen one like that before. Seems pretty skillful, too, they whispered to each other. Since there's little to kill time with, they probably jumped on the opportunity to discuss these kinds of things. In the end, they wandered after us to observe. The test was held in a building as large as a gymnasium. The test to move on to the next rank is also held here. You can't take requests without an appropriate rank, so you can take the test at any time. For that purpose, a proctor from every guild is always present. But since proctors are sometimes relied upon in times of need, page will turn. Eventually. Come on. They are mostly hired from among the rank A- adventurers, retired from military service. Similarly, the man in front of me, albeit young, is missing a leg. He probably lost it performing his duties and became a proctor instead. I'll say this ahead of time. If you pass, you become E rank, and are allowed to subsequently challenge D and C rank and above. However, if you fail, you have to first earn 100 F rank points before testing again. Do you understand? F rank points are obtained from F rank requests. Rewards and points differ between different levels of requests. In short, you get rewarded for your skill. Doing the same thing over and over, after all, only troubles everybody. No problem, I answered, and the proctor nodded in return, and, pointing at the ground, the test will be conducted within a magic circle. Enter it. After you finish your preparations, we begin. Where he pointed lay a 20-meter in diameter magic circle. I entered it. At the same time, a dome-like barrier was erected. Some people were excitedly looking this way. I'm ready, I shouted. I should use the female voice because he's in his child form. All right. In that case, defeat the opponent before you, the proctor said, and poured magic into the circle, summoning magic, and a single hound appeared before me. It's often used to practice, but that's all there is to it. Faster than the dog could growl, and maybe even faster than it could show fear of me. I decapitated it in a single slash. Yo, defeated. Next one, please. I was welcomed by silence. Amazing, I heard that whisper. The proctor, for the first time, showed confusion. No, I never said I was. In any case, I want to quickly become A-ranked. Sorry, you can only test up to B here. B+ rank and above are conducted at the headquarters only. So, what now? Will you test up to B? Is that so? Got it. In that case, I'll go up to B, please. It's a pain, so let's get it over with. Since I'm heading there anyways, I might as well take every test up until then. Nodding at my words, and after having regained his composure, the proctor summons the next opponent. D-ranked, Hound Wolf. C-ranked, Giant Bear. C+ ranked, Giant Bat. I smoothly cut through every one of the foes he summoned. The audience is now silent, observing my fights. Chances are they are simply glued to the scene before them. In any case, I've been able to cut down my opponents with a single slash every time. I laughed when a giant bat appeared. How many years has it been since I first attacked one of these? And after defeating it, I was already up to the C+ rank. The next one is rank B. Superb! To think you were this skilled! B-rank monsters are strong. Are you ready? No problem. Please send it in. Thus, the last enemy was summoned. A demon with 4 wiggling arms, named Lesser Demon. That's the first time I've seen a demon race. I kind of want to eat it and obtain its abilities. That monster is a lesser demon. Physical attacks won't work against it. Now, what will you do? You should give up now. Wounds from this thing might just kill you. The proctor exclaimed, somewhat excited. He's probably just bitter that I've defeated all the enemies so easily up until now. But what should I do? I don't really want to show my skills or... Come on. Or magic. While I was pondering this, the lesser demon's eyes flashed red, and he started chanting magic. Then he fired 4 fireballs at me, as expected of a B-rank monster. Truly amazing. I easily dodged the attack, feeling them gaudily explode against the barrier behind me. However, did the 3 idiots really defeat this thing alone? Hey, isn't a lesser demon something you challenge with a team? Yeah, I was just thinking that. Hey, defeating that alone is impossible. Oh, sorry, it's the crowd talking. Hey, defeating that alone is impossible. That's like a rank B+ test. I heard such exclamations. If I look closely at the proctor, his eyes are bloodshot. I guess some hazing is to be expected. Whatever. Physical attacks aren't really effective. It's only half corporeal after all. A demon race, it seems, is an ethereal being that possesses intelligence and obtains a body. The lesser demon was annoyed at the fact that I kept dodging his attacks, so it came at me with its 4 arms. I could simply eat it. I have no choice. Let's envelop the sword with magic. A magic sword. Like I always do, I bring out a bit of my aura, and I carefully infuse some into the sword, as if not to be revealed as a monster. Now, all I need is to slash at it. The lesser demon was cut in half by my sword, turned into rubbish, and disappeared. Yo, the end? Is that good enough for B rank? The audience was silent for a moment, but... Amazing, girl, you're so cool. Take your mask off and show us your face for a second. You perverts, don't mind them and form a party with us. And other similar grand statements resounded throughout the hall. What a ruckus. The proctor also seemed to have calmed down or something, saying, Wonderful. You pass. You pass with flying colors. He shook my hand. He probably completely forgot the hazing a moment ago. Not that I care. And ignoring the requests from the audience, I proceeded back into the main building to finish the formalities. I was recognized as a B-ranked adventurer and received the appropriate card. Name, Rimuru. Rank, B. Specialty, Sword. Division, Subjugation. That's what the card reads. It seems they didn't include the sections I left blank. All right, I can now call myself an adventurer. I received the card and said my thanks. The receptionist lady now treated me differently. Though she previously treated me as a child, she now acted with respect, befitting another adult. As expected of a professional, she's quick to rectify her behavior. Leaving them behind, I proceeded to impose on Fuse. I had someone lead the way. We went through the magic circle and knocked on the door. When I entered, Fuse turned to meet me and exclaimed, Oi, you're standing out too much. To cut a lesser demon with a sword, don't you know how to hold back? A magic sword, right? Even enchanters can't use that much power, so you've done it now. Did I cause a problem? Actually, if you were looking, then you should have stopped it. Seriously, I didn't even have the time to. It's fine. Magic swords have been introduced by world travelers and are experimental right now, so there's a few people who use one. We're planning to make it our trump card against monsters, so users are selected by invitation only. I'll silence the proctor, but be more careful from now on. Infusing magic into a sword, though you'd expect it to be a common technique, it's actually really difficult. Well, if there weren't people watching, I'd just eat it. Though I pay it no mind, it seems that I have many high-grade skills. So, having selected this one on a whim, I stood out too much. Not like I'm planning to fight in front of everybody from now on. But I should be more mindful from this moment forward. Thanks. I'll be more careful from now on, and I'm off. Right. Pass my regards to the headquarters, and be careful. After thanking Fuse and picking up my introduction letter, I left the Freedom Association. I got a guild card as my identification and earned money for my travel expenses, arranged support for my city, and even formed diplomatic relations with the country. Not bad for a first outing. If possible, I would rather not fight against humans. Forming a friendly relationship and cooperating with them from now on would be the best. And thus ended my stay in Brummond. Next on my list is the Ingrassia Kingdom's royal capital, to meet the Freedom Association's headquarters Grand Master, Kagurazaka Yuki. I thus resumed my journey to meet a fellow world traveler. And that is the end of chapter 55. Thank you so much for the hearts. And for the people that are just arriving, if you wouldn't mind using the avatars that are behind the curtain, just to help everyone's frames, that'd be greatly appreciated.
I will be going to bed. It was very nice listening to you read.
No worries. Enjoy your sleep.
I shall try. Thank you for having me.
Then it's all good. Everyone here is welcome. Let us continue then. Chapter 56, The Ingrassia Kingdom. The journey to Ingrassia Kingdom proceeded without incident. I summoned Ranga and had him assume a smaller form. He also has fur armor equipped, so there shouldn't be any problems if humans see him. That is, he currently looks like a slightly bigger black wolf. Though the road we traveled by was unpaved, it was still considered a highway, so we did see some mounted soldiers. Few monsters spawned around here, and there's little magic in the air, so we didn't see any powerful monsters. However, the roads were infested, in some sense, robbers and highwaymen. These petty types were all over them, but we didn't even run into them. Well, I guess that's to be expected. What kind of being could catch up with Ranga's pace anyway? And it's not like we're running at neck-break speed. No, we're proceeding leisurely, but still at least 60 kilometers an hour, far faster than any horse carriage. Thus, the journey proceeded smoothly, and we arrived at the Ingrassia's royal city in merely 2 days. The scale of the city was surprising. Sure, it's plenty wide, but there's also a large wall surrounding the city. 2 gates lead into it, and there's no way in except for those 2 gates. It's baffling to think just how much money and time was needed to construct this. We entered the city and marveled at the sights. Many tall structures filled the city, but that much we expected. However, the scale of the buildings was incomparable to those in Brummond. Most were at least 5 stories high. The city was full of brick and wood buildings, but more than anything, it was the strict sea planning and the white castle in the middle of the city that made me wonder. A large lake occupied the center of the city, and a castle was built in the middle of it. 4 bridges extended to the castle and connected to the city's main roads. This solemn piece of architecture properly conveyed the country's military strength. In short, all I thought was amazing. From the perspective of defense, every important junction has knights monitoring public order. You'd have to be pretty desperate to even attempt a criminal act, as expected of a city planned ahead of its time by the council. I mean, just think of the consequences if some foreign prince got into trouble here. To prevent such occurrences, the city has perfected its defenses. Thanks to the guild card, I was able to quickly pass through one of the gates. Normally, one has to undergo 3 different identity checks to be permitted access. At the first step, they check your identification documents. If you successfully pass this check, you have to go through a thorough body search. Then you need to line up in another line. Each point is heavily protected, and the lines are far longer than the one in the Dwarven Kingdom. In other words, I'm truly happy that I have the guild ID. By the way, even if there are any problems during your second check, you could go on to the third. Okay, but you'd be treated as a criminal from then on. You'd basically be treated in a way that will discourage you from trying to enter the city. But still, there are many people trying to gain entrance, and so extremely long lines stretch in front of the inspectors. This all proves just how beguiling this city is to foreigners. I proceeded onwards, impressed. As for Ranga, he's entered my shadow from the moment we reached the royal capital. What? You thought I would just bring him here in the open? Of course not. Wolves don't belong in cities. Even I have that much common sense. Don't worry. And so, after having hidden Ranga in my shadow and spent half a day in line, we finally entered the sea. What's amazing is more than its appearance. I was able to see a wonderful display of their advanced culture. I saw many large gymnasium-style buildings that are used for concerts. Busy squares are home to performers and theaters. There's also lots of advertisements for performances. I don't know if paper is just that cheap here, but you see flyers thrown away on the streets. Truly a metropolis. I was finally able to smell the air of a busy capital after such a long time. No way, I thought in surprise, looking at glass buildings. Behind the glass you could see products being sold, like the store windows of our world. Actually, I guess that's exactly what they are. The only difference would be that the main products on display are armors and weapons. The stores that specialized in dresses and such were located closer to the castle, in the high-class district. But those are not stores intended for the masses. You'd have to be pretty rich just to live inside the city walls, but housing near the castle is certainly limited only to nobles, and that's a sign of wealth disparity. Well, that's just how it is. Isn't it natural to treat those that contribute more to taxes better? Thus, after wandering around the city for a bit, I started looking for an inn. The city is separated into 4 large districts: the merchants district, the sightseeing district, the production district, and the residential district. Separated by the castle in the center, a circular city, and easy to understand. So I proceeded to the sightseeing district. As I thought, I quickly found a section dedicated to inns. There was also a bar in the back. That got me excited. However, that was not my goal today. Unfortunately, I abstained from festivities and reserved a room in the inn. Paying with clicks. The sightseeing district is near the walls, with various attractions lined up in the streets. There also was quite a few street vendors. Closer to the center is a large building intended for diplomats and conferences. There's also a school inside, it seems. Of the 4 sections of the district, it is the most heavily guarded. And close to this section stands the Freedom Association's main headquarters. I didn't know where it was at first, so I had asked a knight for directions. What? Which one do you have business in? The closest one is straight that way, he said, pointing. In that direction stood a large, gaudy building. Next to it was a building affiliated with the Western Saints Church. A Saints' Cross symbol stood proudly on the top. Next to the church? Right, the gaudy one. Even a little girl like you wouldn't get lost getting to it. That's how I learned the way. The Freedom Association seems to have another building, but I'll head to the nearest one first. It's a pretty large building. That can be seen from far away. Thus, after securing a place at the inn, I had come to the Freedom Association's headquarters. Right now, I have no business with the church. Actually, as an atheist, I'd prefer to stay away from the church my whole life. Moreover, the church considers monsters its natural enemy, so I'd rather not appear before it. But who would have expected it stands so close to the Freedom Association? Well, as long as I don't reveal any of my aura, they shouldn't recognize me for who I am. Not that there's any use worrying about it. If they find out, we'll figure out the next step then. The entryway to the association is covered in glass. Must have cost quite a lot. Frankly, I hadn't expected to see glass doors in this world. Just what you'd expect from world travelers. They seemed to have achieved the impossible through pure will. I guess my own efforts have been lacking thus far. What you permit happens, and what you don't permit doesn't happen. Rather than saying what you can or can't do, simply doing it is important. Let's remember that. And when I had thought to enter, I felt a presence staring at me. The doors opened by themselves. Seriously, a sensor detects human presence and opens the door. What a useless example of intricate technology. I'm surprised they went this far, considering that the church next door is opened by hand. Why is it different? It's next door. I couldn't fathom the reason for the difference. When I entered, I felt a gaze fall upon me. A lady by the door said, "Welcome. For what purpose have you visited us today?" Just like a hotel, the headquarters are too influenced by them. I wish to meet with the Grand Master. I have an introductory letter, I said, and handed her the document. Allow me to verify it. Please wait in this room. She guided me to a waiting room. The headquarters are really impressive. The moment I sat on the sofa, another attendant brought me tea. They really leave nothing to be desired. I suddenly got curious, so I asked, hey, security seems pretty lax around here. Can just anyone waltz in like this? Oh, it must be your first time in the headquarters. Only adventurers of B rank and above can enter it. The entrance scans your guild card, so people without a proper identification can't enter. Those below the B rank, C+ and below, have to use the building near the entrance of the city. So she explained. I see, so the censor also had that purpose, and the other building the knight had mentioned must be that... I'm sorry, page turning. Must be that one, huh? So, outsiders don't know about the necessary rank requirements. I probably would have been sent here after presenting the letter, but I'm glad I stopped by here first. Ranking up to B was also the correct decision. While I was thinking this, I heard a knock on the door. A door opened, and in stepped a man. Black hair and black eyes, the appearance of a youth, a rather good face, blessed with a truly youthful appearance. He could easily introduce himself as a high school student. Pleased to meet you. I am Kagurazaka Yuki, the Grand Master of the Freedom Association. I'm looking forward to our conversation, Rimuru-san. I'll listen intently, he said, flashing a bright smile. An easy-to-befriend young lad. That's how I met Kagurazaka Yuki. Scene change. A loud bang. The door flew open, and Milim entered. That was the norm, so Frey didn't react much. In the first place, the large mass of energy that was rapidly approaching her could only be Milim. When Milim entered, she happily exclaimed with a wide smile, "Yahoo! Frey! What wonderful weather we have today!" She was combining her beautiful blonde hair, combing her beautiful blonde hair with her hand. Her hands adorned with an unfamiliar item. Not a ring, something enveloping 4 of her fingers, with dragon images as decorations. It fit naturally around her small hands. Oh, did I come too early? She said, fanning her face. Since when is she bothered with the heat? Ah, Milim, it's been a while. You seem in a good mood today. Did something good happen? Does it show on my face? Look at this, she said, showing the dragon knuckles on her hand, proudly laughing. Frey could only sigh to herself. Ah, my, they suit you quite well. Where did you get them? After deciding to praise her, Frey asked that question. While fidgeting in embarrassment, Milim said, want to know? Should I tell you? What should I do? And similar pointless lines. How annoying. Frey, who had known Milim for a while now, could only think that. Aren't we friends? You can tell me, can't you? Upon hearing these words, Milim's eyes opened wide. Oh, right, we are friends. All right, I'll tell you. The thing is... And thus Frey heard from Milim about the monster's city, constantly bragging and showing off the clothing she got. Frey could not hide her surprise at the sight of such a merry Milim. Once Milim finished telling the story once. Right, Milim, as friends, I have a present I want to give you. Will you accept it? Frey said, and beckoned her attendant. The attendant brought it in, lying on a purple cloth, a beautiful jewel. And this beautiful jewel was embedded inside a stunning pendant. Any person who saw it would recognize its outstanding value. This is the present? Is it okay for me to accept it? Even if I do, I won't be giving you the dragon knuckles, Milim said with a wry smile. Don't worry, Milim. It's proof of our friendship, a friend's gift, as I said. Will you wear it for me? Frey said with a soft smile. I will, Milim exclaimed with a brilliant smile.
It's
Incantation,
really cool that this
preparing
exists.
demon marionette success. At that moment, Milim's smiling face went rigid. Something flashed in her eyes, but her consciousness was already gone. Oh no, she's been turned into a marionette. The dragon knuckles slid right off her hands. Seeing this reaction, Frey sighed in relief. It's done. Clayman, is this fine? She said to a dark, empty corner of the room. From where you'd think no one could be, a single man emerged. Demon Lord Clayman, the one called the Marionette Master. Well done, Frey. I have now acquired the strongest dog. You looked down on me as a young demon lord, but to have fallen for such a petty trick. How pitiful, Milim. With a sinister smile, Clayman struck Milim across the face. Her plump cheeks turned red and her lips split. Milim, who was normally clothed in many defense barriers, did not have much defense right now. A normal girl, no, even lower than a human. It's natural for her to be hurt by a demon lord's attack. While loudly laughing, Clayman continued his onslaught. Shouldn't you stop now? It's not a spell that would disappear with a little damage. Considering her arrogant attitude, surely you've got a grudge or two against her. Isn't that why you agreed to this plan? No? If so, then don't hold back. She can't resist anymore. Well, she is pointlessly sturdy, and we can just keep healing her when she breaks. His eyes bloodshot, Clayman kicked Milim into the air. Contrary to Clayman, Frey was calmly observing. Hey, Clayman, you don't know, but Milim has an automatic defense mode, you see. We call it Rampage, where she uses abilities beyond her body's limit. So if you want to die, be my guest, but don't involve me in your side. Got it? Clayman regained his composure upon hearing these words. What a joke of a demon lord! What's with the oldest demon lord looking down on us? Whatever. If I use her, I can improve my standing among the demon lords. Frey, you're my accomplice, so don't go thinking you can betray me now. Weren't we supposed to be equals? Fool! I'm the one who came up with the plan. You've already become one of my pieces. You don't want to die by Milim's hand right now, do you? Now that I have obtained Milim, you can't reject me any longer. Frey made an unpleasant face upon hearing his words. You are the Sky Queen. The rulers of the skies, no? You wish for Milim to disappear, and I can make it happen. She had agreed to the plan because of these words, as she somehow learned that Milim is weak to the word friend. I understand. Good! Just don't try to betray me. What? You aren't like Milim. I won't order you around. Just ask a few favors here and there. While continuing his laughter, Clayman said such. Now, he has assembled 3 demon lords beneath him, a power that their council can no longer ignore. At the very least, he's far surpassed the other young demon lords, Milim and Frey. By controlling these 2, he could perhaps even force the others to follow him. Then, even the old generation would come to fear him. He'll rule them all. After all, he's the marionette master. He'll lead them all under that name. The next one on the list is Demon Lord Carrion. After that, the next would be... Clayman was busy planning. Frey coldly observed this. On the floor, Milim's dragon knuckles emitted a faint light, but there was no light in Milim's eyes. The dragon knuckles glowed in vain. Oh, that is the end of that chapter. I will once again wet my throat.
Well, that was sad.
Art. Hearts everywhere.
Listening to your voice is very soothing.
I just want to
I'm glad.
Yeah, woo!
Sorry. Can I have a
I just wanna say your
turn
voice is
narrating?
That is not how this works.
Fucking throw more hearts at him.
Once I have
Let's go.
finished my readings, you are welcome to use the hall.
I see.
Get off the
Carry on.
stage.
Oh. I also apologize if my voice sounds stuffy. I fear I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. Sad face.
Oh no.
All right.
That's terrible.
It still sounds very
I can
soothing.
feel the stuffy nose. Chapter 57. To learn magic. Kagurazaka Yuki was an open-hearted good guy. His age should be in the second half of the 20s, but his look is still like a high school student. I heard the reason. It was due to some kind of curse. When he comes to this world, it seems he didn't... Wow, when he came to this world, it seems he didn't acquire any unique skills or unique abilities. Only his physical abilities that grow abnormally. Well, I give up. Actually, I noticed something was strange after 5 years had passed. He says that while laughing and scratching his head. Thanks to that, I heard he never had a date with women before. Actually, he is a fellow who possesses a good impression. What the hell? Well, is that so? That's disappointing. Eventually it'll turn better. I'm comforting him sincerely. By the way, Rimuru-san, are you a monster? But how could you pass the barrier of the association headquarters? Hmm? Ah, I'm a monster. My true identity is a slime. This trivia, please conceal it. No, that's not just a trivia. No, not that. Why did you make such a city for monsters? No, there are enough monsters to establish a city. Is it unusual? No. Although from what I've heard, there's no other like it. Is that so? Yes, that's right. We stared at each other for a while. Well, whatever. For now, I decided to get along with the leader of the association, the Grand Master. It is to discourage the city's image as a suspicious monster city. For now, let's talk about the truth. Come to think about it, Shizu-san is aware of my true identity from the air I carry. What? I think she's an amazing person. Okay. Usually, there is no one that will think a person from another world would reincarnate as a slime. Actually, I'm a space alien. What are you trying to say? It's the first time I've heard space alien since coming here. By any chance? Damn, I was exposed. So my true identity is a mysterious hero that fights after transformation. Form change, Kamen Racer! Pose, or as close to as I could. How nostalgic, Kamen Racer. I was watching it too. So as I thought, Rimuru-san, you're from Japan, right? After I tell some material that only fellow countrymen could understand, it's bullseye. In case he doesn't know the story, at that time I will think about something else. After that, we talked about various things together. Things that happened after coming to this world. Shizu-san's final moments, living in this world's magic. The topics from the world on the other side, such like endings and final episodes of manga and anime. He leans his body forward to get really into it. What the hell? Ah. Master, from this point forward, please instruct me by all means. It's difficult. The anime you really want to know is already completed. Of course, on those matters, the great I won't make any mistakes. I will restrain on what should be not said. It is a gentleman's etiquette. Ha! By all means, of course. His desperation comes out. In the middle of the conversation, the secretary Onersan entered the room with tea. She opened her eyes in shock and almost dropped the tray. Sorry if it's a bit jilted. There's a lot of translation notes in between. As expected, the prank has probably ended. Well, he can't read the continuation of his favorite manga, so it's natural for him to be interested. Among them, some had reached its conclusion, but most of them didn't advance that much. Some of them were interesting, but some were awful. That's what I'd expected from him. Japanese world travelers that have knowledge after living in this world for 10 years. Of course, the serious talks began now. The previous one was only casual chatter. Rimuru-san, the reason you came to the royal capital is not only to meet me, your fellow countrymen, right? Is your goal to return? Return. I'm thinking about it. However, I've given up on that, because I'm already dead. However, for young people such as them, returning might be their goal. Are you able to do that? Regarding this question, the response that comes was silence. It's not an easy thing to do. If it is so easy, then they would already have returned a long time ago. I already thought of that. It's like a one-way road. This world is like half material world. And I understood the explanation he gave. It's simple. The previous world was full material. This is so poorly written. Because there is no magic power on Earth. Spirits, demons, fairies, monsters can exist because there are magic powers in this world. Therefore, you can easily go down, but it's impossible to climb back up. Once your body became half material, you can't turn back easily into your full material body. However, there is a way, from the legend in the material world, Earth, about demons and devils. If some conditions are met, it is possible to travel between the worlds. The talks had been finished. Well, it is what it's called. It is what is called steps in a research. For that goal, I guess I would like to continue hearing the progression of that research. Well, I apologize so bad. Well, if I'm able to live carefree, then that's enough. The town has been finished, and it's enjoyable to be together with my companions. To converse with fellow countrymen is one of the biggest reasons I came to this royal capital. But there's actually another purpose beside it. And that's, the other purposes were, to buy magic stones and inspecting the royal capital, to measure the degree of civilization. Those visits are that important. However, the most important purpose I had not forgotten, that is, to learn magic. Well, there were several purposes. It's good to talk with you. After this, I want to visit the library. When I said that, I see. So it's magic, right? That sure is nice. I also want to learn some of it. However, for some reason, I can't use it. I think it might be because the change in my body's nature. Magic would be a man's special romance. This person, it seems that he is also the kind of person who understood a man's romance. As expected, since it exists, he wants to be able to use it. I see. How long do you intend to stay at the royal capital? I had thought to stay for about a month. Now then, I wonder if I can learn magic by that time. If that's so, can't you stay for about 3 months? Hearing the explanation, it seems there is a lack of school teachers in the royal capital. There is a lot of impertinent students, so it's impossible for the B-ranked adventurers in the royal capital. When the new school term begins, the new A-ranked is scheduled to arrive and take up the position of teachers. God damn. Gotta click. Go back. Come on. So there is a need to entrust the position for 3 months until then. There is no reason to hurry, even if I may accept it somehow. While thinking about this, teacher's dormitory, 3 meals a day, and a salary of 10 silver coins a day. Also, how about additional free passes to the Royal Capital Library? Of course, I'll take it. You will do the same if I'm in trouble. We shook each other's hands whilst smiling. I got a job at the Royal Capital. I bid farewell to Yuki, finishing the formalities in 1 day, and I was told to go to the dormitory tomorrow. The talk immediately ended. There were no problems either, and thus the move to the dormitory finished. Well, though I experienced the Royal Capital Inn service for only a single night, the service there was quite satisfying. The two included meals. The two included meals are delicious. As expected, the seasoning is also used abundantly. Even though the inn that I resided at was cheap, they also provided a large public bath. It was wonderful. In the country, it's seldom you see a local inn with the bath service. However, if you want to stay for 3 months, living in the dormitory is definitely more convenient. Thus, the move to the dormitory was immediately finished. Even if I regret nothing, 4 silver coins a day is quite high. The salary of 10 silver coins will be given on the working days. There won't be any on holidays. Though it was expected for the Royal Capital to have high living expense, there is no problem to save money. But work is for tomorrow. Today is for visiting the library. There is a restriction to enter the room with magic books, but when I present the adventurer's identification card, I can enter the room without any problems. They seem to keep what they had promised to me. They seem to have kept their promise to me once I took up the teacher job. Even though the library is located in the royal capital, it is not the royal library. The royal library is located inside the castle. As those are in the royal family's possession, only court magicians can access them. In every country, the library seems to hold the country's secret magic, so it was difficult for a foreigner to visit it. But it doesn't mean that this library worth is low. This is so hard to read. They are not. The library, where I stand now, exhibited the secret arts of the adventurers that the adventurers had collected. The ancient magic that the Freedom Association adventurers found is also collected at this place. It can be said that it is possible that this library had a worth that is equal to the other countries' royal libraries. It's wonderful. Coming to this royal capital early like this is like being blessed with good fortune. Even though this is a favor from Yuki, surely it's mainly because of my good behavior. I immediately checked the magic books. If you read it straight, the book's amount is such that it seems to be impossible to read all of them in someone's lifetime. To everyone in the world who studies diligently, forgive me. After apologizing in my heart, I read it quickly with the great sage ability. For someone nearby who sees me, it seems to them that I only take a book in my hand for a while and then return it to the shelf. Actually, just by holding it in my hand, the book goes inside my body. So, I copy it completely. Simultaneous utilization of the great sage and the gluttony abilities. High-speed copy of magic books that I hold in my hands. I am postponing checking the content of the books for a later time. Unfortunately, it is not possible to be able to use magic just by copying the books. But taking and copying it, I am able to make the index of magic books I want. After this, it's necessary for me to study it one by one. For that reason, I took and copied the books one after another, without seeing any of the titles. Even with the copying speed, it's taking a whole day. I'm only able to take 1/10 of the portion of all the books here. It seems for now... It seems for now on, I'm going to come to the library frequently in my break time and days off. Thus, my day off passed. However, there was no regrets. For my goal to learn magic, it's just a trivial thing to do. Scene change. Well, it's the first day of the job. Still, this is a bit difficult to... God. Still, this is a bit difficult job. I understand that after experiencing it at the first day taking the position, rather than a teacher, I became an instructor because there isn't anyone capable to fill the vacant position Shizu-san left. My job is to become the substitution. Yuki's jobs are not only as the leader of the Freedom Association, the Grand Master, but also to manage the Freedom Academy as its executive director. He was the chairman, too. The person in question says that it's just an honorary position, but it's still an important position. After coming to this world for 10 years, he develops the Freedom Association, running an academy. In one sense, he is the representative of all the adventurers. This academy had also referred as the institution to nurture the association members. This doesn't make sense because it seems like it's been machine translated. Moreover, each class is separated just like it is in the association. Thus, they are divided just like how the association is. However, the basic teaching is shared between all of the classes. The position I take is the vacant homeroom teacher of the special class, alias the S class. But it seems the class's members are still at the age of elementary grade students. It says the former homeroom teacher is the demon teacher, Izawa Shizue. Oh, it's Shizu-san. She's the hero whose nickname is the Explosive Monarch. So the teachers succeeding her pale in comparison to her. All previous teachers, being unable to handle the severe interactions with the students, ran away from the academy. When I was giving my greetings in the staff room, I was told that by the other teachers. No, even for someone who looks like a child, I think you still had trouble with those problem children. Even if you are B-ranked adventurer, well, you had recommendation from the chairman. Please quickly report if it seems impossible for you. It's missing consonants and everything. The principal worries too much. They are just kids. Or so I thought. Chee! Is this a sound? It must be. From this day... Hello. From this day, I'm your new homeroom teacher. In the place I stood and greeting them friendly, a flaming sword flying towards me. I became panicked and managed to avoid it. Kenta, so cool! Is that a special move? You perfected it? However, it's still lacking. It should be easily avoided. Noisy children. I will end up split and charred black if I didn't avoid it. Hey, calm down, will you? The class will be destroyed if you went on a rampage. I retort in pseudo-Kansai Ben. I already want to go home. This place is another world. If a teacher exhibits violence, will it be considered a corporate punishment? What the fuck? In front of me are 5 human children. This is a gathering of problem children. The alias, the S-class, a special class that is composed only by world travelers. Yuki sheltered the children from every corner of the globe. They're still kids of the elementary grade students, but their abilities are terrifyingly high. Honestly, he's toying with me. I thought they were docile, but towards me they are staring with their eyes full of hostility. 3 months after this, can I take care of these guys? The depressing feeling from a long time ago is coming back. I apologize for how poorly that was worded. That is the end of that chapter. Did anybody understand it?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm glad. I struggled.
Yes. When will this end? We're 20 minutes over the time.
There is no end time.
Oh, okay.
Ah, you're talking about the one
That's
that is
called
on
the
the
apocalypse.
event. Indeed.
It's a different
There
one.
really should not be open end times on the event calendar, but I think they have to do that anyway. Normally we read 5 chapters, so, I mean, I can end it after this next chapter, as I'm feeling a little bit down. Give me a moment. I'm going to take a drink of water.
Well, all good things must come to an end.
Do you know what book he's reading it from?
Alright, I'm out.
Alright. Hey. Hey, what's up?
Thank you for coming. Whoever that was that is leaving. Is everyone's frame still doing okay?
Yes, yes it is.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm good, but the audio's crackling.
Yep.
Okay, if the audio is crackling, can I please have everyone that is in a custom avatar move behind the curtain and choose one of the crowd avatars?
Okay.
I mean, my friends have taken a dump, but I've just kind of lived with it, so...
Alright, I'm going next.
Not sure where the audio is.
Dot Turner,
I'm
could
finally
you
black.
please mute your microphone? Thank you. You were giving a lot of reverb.
I forgot.
Is this just so to reduce lag?
Yes.
Well, yeah, a lot of custom avatars will have like uncombined meshes and stuff. So
They have a lot of draw calls and causes a lot of
yeah, that
server
too.
lag.
Also
I
bones
see.
calculations, shit like that.
You can check your frames per
Okay.
second in the menu, and it jumps up after everyone switches avatars.
Alright, that's explainable.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
getting
you.
about 10 more.
Damn,
frames
how would
now.
it work?
Right, we can continue.
Magnanix, are you muted?
Yeah, he's not talking.
If you want some more friends.
Oh dear.
No,
There you go.
that's funny. That is hilarious.
Are you
I
reading
wonder
the
how
whole
long I've
time?
been muted. No, not
for
at all.
about 2
I
minutes
was just
now.
I was
saying.
going to say.
I was just saying that these black models you all have only have 9,000 polys and a single draw call from one material. So they are optimized very much for this theater.
Oh, very nice.
Alright. Oh, that's
You also get
good to
more.
know.
That works.
You also get more frames per second. Oh shit.
You
Indeed.
also get more frames per second if you
Friends per second.
disable name tags.
Yeah, more frames per
Control
second.
N.
How do you disable it?
Control N was
Control
to have
N.
the VRChat window split.
Oh, that's cool. I
All
didn't know that.
right.
Thank you.
Then let us read the final chapter of the night. Oh. Chapter 58. The Summoned. Those who were called heroes. The children directed a hostile gaze at me, filled with pure hatred. It made me feel really out of place. What in the world could cause them to harbor so much hostility towards a new instructor? 5 children. Misaki Kenya, male, 8 years old. Sekiguchi Ryota, male, 8 years old. Gail Gibson, male, 9 years old. Alice Rondo, female, 7 years old. Chloe Obel, female, 8 years old. None of them were older than 10. I looked them over while confirming the notes I picked up in the staff room. They've been picked up from all over the world. Each one was called a monster. Each country has requested a subjugation for them, but the adventurers took custody of them instead. Someone has their microphone open. Could I get you to mute, please? It looks like it's you, Curry. Please mute, Curry. That's what the document said. But something is bothering me. Why are their ages so similar? And they've all been picked up in various circumstances from countries surrounding the Jura forest. Moreover, within 3 years of each other. There might be something going on. They seem to have grown very attached to Shizu-san. Other than her, they only listen to Yuki's words. Well, unless you see them for yourself, you wouldn't know how mischievous this bunch really was. Yo, what's with the sudden... Oh, yes, that would be right. Yo, what's with the sudden aggression, brats? I, Ore-sama, will be your instructor from now on. The name's Rimuru. I'm not as nice as Shizu-san, so I'm not as nice as Shizu-san, so prepare yourselves. I thought to start with a greeting, but... Shut up! You won't deceive us! Right. Even if we listen, you'll just kill us anyways. Next page. What did you do with Shizu-san? Did you kill her too? Yeah, we won't trust an adult. You'll just dispose of us, saying we're good for nothing, right? What's with their response? This is not at the level of classroom disruption. They're not just bratty. There's real killing intent right there. I mean, how did they even think that we're trying to kill them? Or that we killed Shizu-san? There's something else at work here. That day, we couldn't continue the lessons. I don't know their circumstances, so I can't just force my will on them. So, that day ended with just a greeting. Ken-chan, are you okay? Stay away, that mask-wearing instructor. What the hell was that? Hey, calm down, okay? I could hear them making noise beyond the door, but I paid it no mind. I only allowed another member to introduce themselves. Ranger. I mean, he's probably observing the class instead of me. How pleasant. But the kids who clearly lacked the will to solve the problems he handed out seemed keen on playing around. So the fact that today's lesson became self-study is something I could not have prevented. So, leaving the rest to Ranger, I decided to visit Yuki inside the Freedom Association's chief room. Yuki and I are holding a discussion while sitting on the sofa. A pleasant aroma drifts from cups of coffee before us, or cups of tea. I continue the conversation. So, please tell me the kid's circumstances. I get straight to the point. Yuki looked me straight in the eye, and after thinking for a bit, Rimuru-san, let me ask you a question. How much do you know about Sakaguchi Hinata? What's that about? Did something happen between Hinata and the kids? Not much. She's a fellow Japanese. I love the way that I write that. And that she remembers things quickly. So Shizu-san said. He nodded in response. In that case, how about the difference between summoned and world travelers? Now that he mentions it, I don't know much about them either. They are guaranteed to possess a unique skill, and the summoning success rate is low. Also, they have a curse carved into their souls. I told him that much. Yes, that matches everything that we have learned about them. You know a lot, don't you? Anyways, summoning requires a very definite circumstance to be prepared, as to allow you to summon a person with powerful abilities, someone whose will is especially strong. Now then, what about summoning conducted under incomplete conditions? Yuki's following explanation made me feel sick. The success rate with 30 magicians chanting summoning magic over the period of 3 days is less than 0.03%. Moreover, a magician who has used summoning magic cannot use it during a set interval. The rest period ranges from 33 to 88 years. Usually, the time it's used to prepare the environment to better the chances of summoning. Now, what would happen if you ignored these rules? If you do, there are less requirements to conduct the summoning, and you can continuously summon. According to what Yuki said, summoning conducted thus usually results in children being summoned. Children with strong souls or abundant magic are forced over here without being granted the ability befitting them. Without a unique skill, the abundant magical energy causes their bodies to implode. They are fried alive by the powers they possess. Wait a minute, then are those kids? At the moment, the record is 3 years. That is the lifespan of those improperly summoned. Oh God, this is dark. And those kids have been summoned like that, failing to become heroes.
What? Huh? Heroes? Were they forced into this by Sakaguchi Hinata?
Yuki does not answer. However, his silence only confirms my suspicions.
The church?
The church is seeking a new hope, a new power. The wish of all humans, light, humanity's messiah, the hero. I have secretly investigated many facilities and broke the children out.
What the hell?
I have not found a way to prevent their deaths. Children under the age of 10 are no exception. If they do not possess a unique skill, they will surely die.
Aren't the summoners bothered by the loss? Aren't these failures dissuading them or something?
They calmly summon more and more. Since they can just continue doing so, they don't care. That's probably what they're thinking.
Are you kidding me? Why have you allowed the church to continue existing?
The church, the Western Saints Church, is influential. Surrounding the Jura Forest, other than the heretic country Sarion, every country is a devout follower of the church. Do you understand? That's not a power we can defeat, even with the government's support. There's also believers among my associates. If we make the church our enemy, the association would fight with itself. Yuki said, his expression pained and powerless. Nor could I add anything. To think that those lively kids will... and that's why they met me with hostility and hatred.
Hey, why did you have me meet the kids? Why did you tell me all this?
Why, indeed. Maybe I wanted to see if you could come up with a way to save them. I don't have anyone in the world I could rely upon. I've already lost Shizu-san. If you hadn't noticed, I wouldn't have told you anything. So why did you notice? To the next page. Damn it. Damn it. If I had not noticed, I could have sent them on their way merrily. Now that I have, how can I be merry? What a bad joke.
Isn't it dangerous? Isn't it dangerous to have the school so close to a church?
On the contrary, it's the safest place. You've heard the expression, it's darkest under the lamppost. So, what will you do? Will you quit now? I looked Yuki straight in the eye and loudly declared,
I will not quit, and I will proceed as I wish from now on. Any complaints?
Yuki nodded, and I leave them to you. If you can, please save those children, he said, lowering his head. No need to tell me. That's another task Shizu-san had left behind. I'll see it through, and chances are this whole conversation was planned by Shizu-san ahead of time. Just a stray thought. I'll leave the Freedom Association building and return to the classroom. Now. Can't greet them with a gloomy face. I'll do what I can. That's all I've been doing thus far. Shizu-san depended on me. Yuki asked this of me. All I can do is to answer their hopes. Scene change. Or rather, time skip. That was the worst day in history for the Beast Kingdom, Eurasia. Demon Lord Carrion nervously looked into the skies above. A huge lump of magical energy was rapidly approaching. Without even trying to hide her aura, Demon Lord Milim, hey, is this for real? She clearly intended on fighting, and aimed for his country. A fight with the serious Milim Nava. I guess this could also be called an opportunity. Carrion did not believe himself to be superior. In fact, he thought Milim to be the stronger. Come on. Next page, please. Ah, there we go. However,
it's more fun than winning against a stronger opponent.
His blood boiled and his heart beat happily. The strongest demon lord, Milim. A senior demon lord. Unlike her appearance, she deserves the awe. He could face that demon lord. To say he was excited would be an understatement. He had once asked his parents, when he was but a child, about the tyranny of a dragon princess. Was that fairy tale based on Milim or some other model? This is what his parents said. A dragon princess's anger can erase an entire country. Never fight against a dragon princess. What rubbish! Though the military of the Beast Kingdom Yuzaria is not particularly large, half of its population belonged to a warrior race, by no means inferior to any other country. Moreover, he himself had evolved into a demon lord. There was no one he had to fear. He headed to the sacred mountain behind the castle, and, while preparing himself, he planned to ambush Milim there. His followers, devils and retainers, knelt before him, waiting for instructions.
Listen, we only have one foe, Demon Lord Milim Nava. Against the Demon Lord, if you devils fight together, you can put up a proper fight. But I will go myself. As for you, erect a barrier and protect the people. Believe me, I shall win. Hey!
Hearing their battle cry, he could feel their excitement. Today, he had the chance to prove himself the strongest.
I didn't hate her personality. We could have become good friends. What a shame.
At this point, her reasons did not matter. For him, only the fight mattered. Not that his prudence would have changed the outcome in the slightest. Slowly, he rose to the skies using flight magic. Reaching Milim, he began the fight without a word. First, a quick test. Punch her with all his power. However, her body covered in many defensive barriers. The attack did not reach her at all. He summoned the Hyakuseru lance and felt his strength grow exponentially. Letting out a small breath, he combined his fighting spirit with his aura and released an onslaught of slashes at Milim. Each slash was followed by an air bullet which violently assaulted Milim. However, though the bullets have broken through a number of barriers, they were unable to hurt her body at all. Moreover, each of the slashes was caught by her demon sword. Evil god! It didn't suit her at all. Thor was dying in a pain night. How many demon lords has this famous sword slain? Carrion distanced himself from Milim and regained his posture. He had not looked down on her at all, but she far surpassed his expectations. He had not used every ounce of his power, but Milim also seemed bottomless. Nor was she an opponent he could fight conflicted. He decided to go all out. Unfortunately, she seemed barely unconscious, as if she was being controlled by someone. That, however, didn't matter to Carrion.
I had wanted to fight the real you, not some puppet. But even so, I will not lose.
He unleashed his abilities, began assuming first his devil, then his demon lord form. He is, after all, known as the Beast King, a lion lycanthrope. Thus he began transforming into a beast devil, and thus his true form, Demon Lord Lion King, Carrion, had appeared. Covered in a silver fur, his muscles bulged. On his lion head, a vermilion bird crown shone bright, and that body was clad in black tortoise armor. The neighboring countries all specialized in warfare. So, for the sake of fighting for the dominance of the skies, large eagle-like wings were attached to his back. Seeing that appearance, a small light briefly flashed in Milim's eyes, and Carrion had not missed that. Or maybe he had only imagined it.
Now then, Milim, it's a shame, but now that you have seen this appearance, I'll have you permanently disappear. Okay? It's a shame, but goodbye.
He screamed and concentrated all his fighting spirit into the Hyakuseru lance. If they had been on the ground, the earth would split from the force of his power, and his surroundings would grind into dust. Not that the air remained unaffected. The energy he had emitted set the air itself on fire.
Bestial roar!
This roar releases one's magical energy at the opponent. All his energy was focused on the tip of the lance, yet it remained undamaged. Had he fired it on the ground, everything in the direction of the attack would be inadvertently erased. It is the Beast King Carrion's sure kill technique. Normally its power would not wane in the slightest for the first 100 meters, and the actual range of the attack could go well past 2 kilometers. Thus, the long range makes this a skill that is best used against multiple opponents, but it can be regulated to be concentrated on a single one. This would be the first time he will use Beast Roar against a single opponent, but he could hardly imagine anyone being able to withstand it. He will go all out. Magical energy rapidly escaped his body. He could hardly sustain the flight magic. However, that was a small price to pay for this attack. Normally, he'd have to use it 2 or 3 times to become this tired, but today he couldn't be reserved. His opponent was covered in many high-level barriers. Taking a deep breath, and while falling towards the ground, he dodged the return fire. Wait. Okay, odd. Seems that they must have missed a line. Sorry for interrupting this. He dodged the return fire. Blood trickled down from his back, but he crossed the wound with spirit alone. He closed the wound with his spirit alone. He looked up at her. However, he didn't want to see her, nor believe that such a thing could be possible. A being who has so far exceeded his expectations. Dragon wings spread wide. Her blonde hair fluttered in the wind. And, though it was not there before, a beautiful crimson horn now adorned her forehead. Her light gothic dress has changed into jet black armor.
Ah, so this would be her real battle attire, huh?
Thought Carrion. Though Carrion was now exhausted, his opponent was unhurt.
What a joke.
Oh.
What a joke. Cut me some slack.
He was now experiencing a bizarre feeling, wanting to cry and laugh at the same time. Well done. That was fun. As thanks, I'll show you this. Milim spoke for the first time. However, it was a monotone. Great. However, it was a monotone voice devoid of her personality. Carrion nonetheless felt impending doom from her words.
I don't want you to show me anything,
he screamed in his heart. Using thought transmission, he conveyed an order to his subordinates. One word.
Run!
And with the remainder of his strength, he ran as fast as he could. He felt it deep in his bones. If he stayed, he would die. The dragon's pupils dilated, and she stretched her wings. Milim roared.
Dragon Nova!
Its brightness easily surpassed that of the stars. The bright pellets that rained upon the earth erased not just the castle, but the mountains behind it. The sound of destruction far surpassed the audible range of one's ears, so the shockwave heralded it instead. It's kind of sad that they missed the result of the single attack there. Those touched by the light disappeared without being able to offer any resistance, the strongest magic, and one of the reasons that Milim has for so long reigned supreme. Impossible. Luckily, Carrion was able to escape, receiving a direct hit, so he survived. It's the wrong place for a comma. But that is Milim, a demon lord you should never fight against, nicknamed Destruction itself. Now, Carrion agreed with his parents' words. You can't fight against that. Its dimension is different from everyone else. However,
but
she, Anna, what could possibly be wrong? Would you enlighten me? What? Okay.
But she,
Anna, what could possibly be wrong? Would you enlighten me? He felt a blade press against his neck, and the presence of a single woman, the supreme ruler of the skies, Sky Queen Frey.
You too, Frey.
Anna, what about me? You'll have lots of time to tell me. And so Carrion's consciousness faded into darkness. It was going so well at the start as well. That is the end of that chapter. We have ended at chapter 58, Shadow. And with that, dear friends, tonight's story time with me, Magnanix, is at an end. Would everybody like to step on stage so that we can get a picture of all those who have attended? Could I ask that you take the picture, Shadow? Even leave it on the stream.
You goddamn kidding me? I just got here too late.
Unfortunate.
I hate my life.
Would this be better in custom?
I just realized my
avatars,
mic was
or should we
muted.
all
Can I
stay
get a
as
hug?
audience?
I suppose you can change to your custom avatars so that people can.
Oh no, Nerfy.
Nerfy changed again.
I suppose shoot a smiley face emote when you're done with the picture shadow.
Ready?
Okay.
Cheese.
Cheese.
Oh, what? I accidentally
Cheesy
put it to a chair.
puffs.
Are we good, Shadow? There we go.
Sweet.
There we go.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I hope
for
you
today,
enjoyed
Magnanix.
tonight's
Thank
readings.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you.
Hey Magna, can I get a hug?
Thank you,
So I don't think I've
Magnanix.
actually hugged you in VR yet.
Tate.
You can indeed give me a hug.